Welcome to My Hometown, the program that explores clubs, organizations, businesses, and issues across Nassau and Suffolk counties and sheds light on the different towns that are making a difference.
Hello and welcome to a special coronavirus edition of My Hometown. My name is Bill Horan and I'm here with Nassau Community College student Corey Kaufman, coming to you live via Zoom and being socially responsible as recommended.
Today, we're going to learn how local Long Island restaurants have been operating during the pandemic and how they plan to operate afterwards in the new normal being created by the virus.
Corey, my mouth is watering already. Today we have 3 local restaurateurs, and they're the owners with us on Zoom, ready to tell us about their businesses. Please welcome first Matt O'Hara, owner of Brooklyn Dip and Burger, located on Front Street in East Meadow. Matt, how are you doing?
Good, hanging in there, Bill.
Okay, great. Next, we have the owner of Popeyes in Bethpage, Joe Reale, and his general manager, Javier. Gentlemen, can you hear me okay?
We can hear you. Thanks for having us.
And last, but certainly not least, is the owner of Cool Z's Gluten-Free in Plainview, Deborah Zeitlin. Deborah, are you there? If you can hear me, okay, then we're all ready to go. Let's start with Matt. Matt, can you tell us a little bit about your restaurant, a little background?
Yeah, so we just opened this past October in 2019. We are a family-style, sports-themed, burger and roast beef dip restaurant. We got a full-service bar. We're getting some outdoor seating together at the moment. And like I said, this is a brand new company, just started 7 months ago, and so we've kind of seen it all already in the restaurant business.
And I will tell you, I've been there, and the 2 magic words for me are roast beef and burgers. If you say that, I'm going to follow you anywhere.
Good.
Matt, can you tell us a little bit what it was like when the pandemic hit and what changes you expect when things open up?
Well, to be honest, as other people know in the restaurant business, my life was already turned upside down 7 months ago. So to believe it or not, the coronavirus was to me was not that big of a deal. My life had already gone to hell. So it's a big undertaking to open up any kind of new business, especially a restaurant business. And as this pandemic kind of spread and the reality of closing came about, we just had to come up with a different game plan on how to do stuff. And luckily enough, my menu, my staff, my rent, they all kind of they're tailored for this. Other people are not so fortunate. So we've made some adjustments in terms of selling drinks. We've never decreased any items on the menu. We've had a full menu the whole time. I have seen my meat prices triple over the past 2 months. We have not passed that on to the consumer. Hopefully they'll start coming down. If they don't, we would have to raise prices. So I would say, just being able to adjust on the fly and really take over a online presence, takeout, delivery, and promotion of the restaurant and doing it safely and, donating food to local municipalities and frontline workers. That's kind of been the game plan, and to be honest with you, it's been very busy.
Well, that's a good thing. We always like to hear the word busy. Corey?
What kind of changes do you expect to have to make once the restrictions have been lifted, once everybody's allowed to go back outside? Do you expect online, like DoorDash and Grubhub, to be like a normal thing, or are you expecting to open back up, let people sit in the restaurant again?
I think probably for the foreseeable future, it'll probably be a 50-50 split, in my opinion, with takeout and delivery versus your capacity at the restaurant for people that do want to go out. We have just about 60 seats at our restaurant, including the bar. I would imagine that, inside full capacity will be probably 30. And then, like I said, we have an outdoor area that I think will become more attractive as the town of Hempstead is allowing these outside seating permits to go through. So, but in terms of changes, the Board of Health will probably schedule some sort of or send out a mandated cleaning schedule that you have to keep track of. Not that people weren't doing that, but now it'll be more regimented. It'll be a good hybrid takeout, delivery, and dine-in going forward. So you got to be prepared for that for the foreseeable future.
Joe Reale and Javier, tell us a little bit about the background of Popeyes and, again, how things were just before the pandemic started.
Yes, how you doing? We've been around a long time. We originated in the Nassau Farmers Market, so we're approaching 40 years in business. I'm second generation over there. I'm coming up on 30 years myself. Family restaurant, large variety menu items, something for everybody. Primarily known for our all-you-can-eats, crab legs, shrimp, baby back ribs, fresh seafood, utilizing the local baymen for our fresh clams, steamers, and oysters. Large drink menu, wine menu, and that's it. We were just approaching into our busy season when all this happened, so we kind of got clobbered with that.
Now the changes as things come back. How do you see that? What preparations are you making?
I think the people are going to pretty much tell us, who's going to be willing to come out and not. So I think it's going to be, as we're doing now, a learn as you go type of situation. So we're going to have to be ready to adapt for change at any given point and moment. But, as of when we're allowed to get the tables back and going, obviously we're going to be separating them. I don't know if we're going to open up with 25% or 50% capacity, whatever it is, but it's still going to be very hard to maintain on 25 or 50%. So we will be relying on takeout heavily.
And now let's go to Deborah Zeitlin from Cool Z's Gluten-Free in Plainview. Deborah, how has this been affecting you? Tell us a little bit about your business.
Well, my business is a gluten-free bakery, and we also do dairy-free and some sugar-free, but that's limited. But everything on our menu can be made gluten-free. Everything is gluten-free. Everything can be made dairy-free. And we've been in business for about a little over 2 years. I am lucky in one way that other restaurant kinds of businesses aren't, in that I am licensed by the state as a home processor. So I do all the baking at home. And so my rent and utilities and all of that kind of thing, I don't have a separate facility that I have to worry about my landlord. As long as I pay my mortgage, we're all set. So how has it changed? My sales dropped drastically, as I'm sure everyone else's did. I have been open consistently. Our menu has not changed, although the entire world is baking at home right now. So it's much harder to find certain things that I have had no problems finding in the past: eggs, butter, things like that. They're limited. But I do have plenty of that, and I have not, had to stop any kind of production.
Yours is a sit-down restaurant? Do people come in there?
No.
So you don't have to worry about that part of things.
So I don't have to worry about that kind of thing. However, I do sell to 2 Iavaroni stores, the Iavaroni in Woodbury and the Iavaroni in Wantagh, as well as having private customers. So the Iavaroni stores have been doing very, very well because they have so much takeout and delivery. But people aren't going into stores and looking around and shopping at their leisure. So if they don't go in there knowing that they want something from Cool Z's Gluten-Free, it doesn't get sold. So it sits on the shelf. And I have had to take a few things off the shelf because they've dated out, which I haven't had to do since the beginning of the business. So that's a very big difference for me. I am having fewer private clients, even though we are completely safe when it comes to health safety precautions, baking masks and gloves and cleaning and all of that is taken care of. I think that number one, people may be more hesitant, and number two, everyone's baking at home.
And there you go. Corey?
Things are a little different.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
You are listening to My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHBC. My name is Corey Kaufman, along with Bill Horan, and today we're talking with 3 local restaurateurs to find out how they are surviving the COVID-19 pandemic. Our guests are Matt O'Hara, owner of Brooklyn Dip and Burger, located in Front Street in East Meadow, Joe Reale and Javier from Popeyes in Bethpage, and the owner of Cool Z Gluten-Free in Plainview, Deborah Zeitlin. So what I want to know is, how do you tell someone afraid to go to a restaurant that your place is safe, that you are taking the proper precautions to prevent the spread of disease?
We started since the whole COVID began, and we didn't stop. And it's been very difficult for us to demonstrate. So the best way is to do a proper takeout, a proper display, always show mask, gloves, proper uniform, and always inform everybody while they take the order. That's what we focus with our girls when they take the orders, telling our procedures, how do we do it, how we take the orders, how we're going to proceed, how you're going to park as soon as you get in there, who somebody's going to approach you the other side of the window of your car, and they're going to ask you for your name. They're going to leave the food in front of a table, and you come and pick it up. And we're going to do, no contact whatsoever. We also we take all the credit card information so they don't even have to sign. So we don't give that responsibility, the less contact with the customer. So we want to make them feel that they're safe. And as long as that happens and we have that distance, they appreciate that. And we're always very precautions about everything. As far as Popeyes, we have a front line and the back line. Joe is in charge in the kitchen. He makes sure every single aspect and every single container and every single takeout is properly packed and properly temperature controlled. Me, as far as I'm always up front and making sure that every single customer feels welcome and safe, and every single step is done the correct way. So that's how we approach this way in a restaurant. Joe is in the back, making sure everything's in there. Me, I'm in the front, making sure every single takeout comes out the right way.
So what do you think that restaurants need to be doing to kind of assuage people's fears and actually have them come in and sit again? Well, sit down and order.
To sit down and order, many people have come to us and parked in front of us and say, "Can I come in and order? Can I go in there and order?" And we don't have that procedure. We actually tell them, my friends, I have to tell you, but nobody can come in there because we don't want any feel anybody uncomfortable. So what we do is, we give them the menu. Please call the restaurant and place your order, and we'll be happy to take care of everything for you. And they do appreciate, because people want to see that restaurants step up on the plate, and they see that. They want to see that all the time cleaning. They want to see that you're really doing your part. I know right now they cannot see the atmosphere, the coming in, the sit down and all that. But right now they appreciate every single aspect that you do, as far as cleaning, as far as how you approach in anti-COVID procedures, you want to do, and they do love that. And that's one of the things that one of the many people that have come to us, that have emailed us and saying, I worked at the hospital and I recently was on leave, and my wife gave birth, and my baby is like 1 month, and I haven't got out at all since my house, and I came here and I come see you guys, everything, the way you guys display, the way you guys treat. You change gloves all the time. As soon as you get cash, you just change gloves all the time. And I just feel safe, and I feel that my food is going to be done the correct way, and you guys are doing the right thing. So that's what they want to see as far as that.
Most people would hope that when they go to a restaurant, it's, they're wiping up and they're sweeping, and, there's no critters back in the kitchen. But, you, especially now, you kind of have to show them explicitly, like, yes, this is what we're doing. We are being safe. Joe, what about you? What are you doing to convince people to come in and order from your establishment?
The big thing is going to be your sanitizing procedures. That's what people are going to be looking for. As Javier stated, we change gloves every transaction. We're making a contact-free pickup service. The people order over the phone. They'll come. They'll pull into the parking lot. They'll give one of the guys their names. The guys go in. They get their bags. They put it on the table, and then the people come and grab their bags. So there's really no contact at all. As far as inside, We sanitize with bleach water. We have sanitizing sprays, quick acting. They're supposed to kill 99.99% within 30 to 45 seconds. So every single high touch and any touch area is being wiped down constantly. Every time a bag goes on our tables, it's wiped down after the bag leaves. The kitchen the same way. We have a couple guys that are just in charge of taking the sanitary buckets and just literally wiping down every spot, every 2 minutes, even during the busiest of times, Mother's Day. Everybody, I called the timeout. I said, everybody step back from your stations. We got the sanitizer guys walking. So like every hour, we're pretty much doing that, or even more so if it's needed upon the time. So but just sanitation all the way, man. And, proper protocol of all that. And, we'll keep everybody safe. It's a guarantee.
Consistency.
Yes.
What about you, Deborah?
Well, I have some of the same issues as others because obviously I'm baking in a kitchen, but I don't have some of the other issues because I don't have the facilities that you have. My kitchen, it's sanitized constantly. There's no one in the kitchen but myself. I always, I use the strictest health safety precautions. I bake with mask and gloves. As I said, no one's in the kitchen but myself. I offer no contact curbside pickup or delivery. As a matter of fact, I just made a delivery yesterday and I pull up to the person's house. I put it at their doorstep and then I get back in the car and I text them or call them and let them know that it's right there and I wait until it's, taken in. As far as pickup here, I tell people to text to call when they're here and I bring it out. I tell them to keep their trunk open and I put it right in the trunk and wave with my gloved hand and that's the contact. So there's no personal interaction. Also, as far as any pickups or deliveries, I schedule them so that no one meets another customer at the same time. So they're at least half an hour apart in case someone's lost or can't get there on time or whatever the issue is. So no customers are bumping into each other as they come here or as I deliver. My issue is that the only way I really have to contact people is through my advertising. So I constantly am sending out posts on my website, at my Cool Z site, on Facebook, and about 9 or 10 other sites on Facebook that I know I've had business from, the people who have seen me, and constantly reassuring them that all these things are being done and everything is cleaned between and all of that. I'm also doing a lot of cleaning ordinarily because as a gluten-free establishment, although there's no gluten, I also bake nut-free and it's kosher. My kitchen is kosher, my whole home is. And so all of those things require me to do certain things to keep things safe for those. So I never have interactions with foods that people can't eat as being gluten-free or nut-free. And all my ingredients are certified to be kosher and gluten-free and nut-free. And so there's always cleaning and those kinds of things in between everything I make.
You are listening to My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHBC. My name is Corey Kaufman, along with Bill Horan, and today we're talking with 3 local restaurateurs to find out how they are surviving the COVID-19 pandemic. Our guests are Matt O'Hara, owner of Brooklyn Dip and Burger, located in Front Street in East Meadow, Joe Reale and Javier Iza from Popeyes in Bethpage, and the owner of Cool Z Gluten-Free in Plainview, Deborah Zeitlin.
Now, as restaurateurs and working in a business environment, is there any advice that either you would give to fellow people around, wherever your restaurant is and on the block, in the neighborhood, or are there things that you're seeing that you would like to see changed? Maybe we can start with Matt on that question.
In terms of permanent change or
No, during this period, like something they're doing, you mentioned about wiping things down. And of course, that's great. When I see that, I feel very confident. That raises my confidence going into a store immediately, because the first thing I see is somebody's wiping off my wagon or the bag or the package, and I'm saying this is a good, clean place, etc. Are there things that you've seen or talked to others about, or some things that you just don't like what you're seeing in other establishments?
No, I've been into a few places of people I know to support. Everybody's doing the same thing. We're trying to wear the mask all day, make people feel comfortable. The news has done a number on people with the panic on this. And in order to make them feel comfortable, you have to have the gloves on, you have to have the mask on, and you constantly cleaning. I mean, there's not much more you can do except wait it out. Time will heal all this. And, you can't, you're not a circus performer either. You're trying to run a small business, serve food to the public, and do it safely. But if you start doing more and more than really needs to be done, and that becomes commonplace, it's a real problem going forward. So I would say do everything to make people feel comfortable. Do not reinvent the wheel. If they're asking you to wear gloves and the mask and do curbside delivery, do that. Do not. My advice to people: do not reinvent the wheel here. Try to get by with the next 3 months, 4 months, whatever this lockdown and limited capacity might be, and maybe they will come up with a vaccine or some treatments that we're seeing on the news, and in time it'll pass. But in the meantime, I would say not just do the bare minimum. Just don't go completely overboard where the entire restaurant industry, is going to make a permanent change for something that could be temporary. That's my advice.
Joe and Javier, how about you?
Following the proper protocol, wiping things down, sanitizing. That's the best and safest way to do things. Just wipe down the high touch areas, keep everything sanitized. Don't start getting lackadaisy, but keep up with the prototocol.
There you go.
That's the best way to do it. We've got this far. We're all in it together. We're all going to get out of it together.
You got that right. Deborah, how about you? Any tips for fellow business people?
Well, I think that my tips are a little different for fellow business people because they're for everyone, because I have a different kind of business. My tip is keep your mask on. I don't care where you're going. Keep a mask on and just be as safe as possible and smart about things. And I think if people are smart about things, this will go away quicker. And I think that will be a benefit to everyone.
Absolutely right. If we're all just smart, we can all, what do they say? We can all beat this together. Corey?
Right. My next question, we can start with Matt. Were any of you able to take advantage of the government loan program to be able to stay in business? A lot of businesses were coming out, business owners were saying like they weren't able to get their PPP loans. And as a result, they had to furlough some of their employees or just shut down completely. Have you had any issue with that?
The first, depending on what bank you used, and we all saw what happened in the news. These people made these outrageous statements and claims that they were small businesses to get the money. Shake Shack, Ruth's Chris, and the banks pushed the envelope there because there is a commission, believe it or not, on those loans. So they slid a lot of those higher priority loans within the bank up, and it created a problem for smaller companies like me. I eventually did get a PPP loan that I just got less than a week ago, although I've never laid anybody off. The other restaurateurs on here probably could speak to it too. It shouldn't fall on me to call New York State unemployment and deny somebody unemployment benefits, even though I didn't lay them off. Now, in the restaurant business, you have the front of house, you have the back of house. My kitchen's worked the entire time. I have a staff of about 11. Now, although I didn't furlough or lay anybody off, the government and the state did by saying there's no sitting down in restaurants. These people are working for $9, $10 an hour plus tips. Well, if no one's coming into the restaurant, you can't expect them to survive on $9 an hour on a 20-hour-a-week, shift base. So they're going to call. They're going to try to get unemployment, and this extra $600 that the government has thrown into the bill is really going to cause some problems moving forward, trying to get some of the service workforce off the couch. So I've seen I see that being a problem going forward. Luckily, the government did step in. I was able to get some funding, which I'll start using this week. Like I said, we've never closed, and I've never laid anyone off, but they took it upon themselves to file unemployment benefits and you can't really blame them when there's a mandate coming from the federal and state level. So that'll be a problem going forward, but there is some money there to help in the meantime.
What about you, Joe?
Yeah, I gotta agree with Matt on that. It's a hard one. We ourselves are waiting on the PPP and all that stuff, so we haven't really touched base on that yet. Like Matt, I got the back of my house is working. Obviously, you need your kitchen staff. As far as the front of the house, I got my girls in, answering the phones, this and that. I'm trying to rotate things and give everybody, like equal hours. But it's hard, they, like you said, they used to waiting tables. There is no waiting tables. Now waiting tables is answering phones. I got 3-4 lines coming in. How many girls really are needed there to take the orders? So we are waiting to see what happens. It's going to be a bridge that we're going to have to cross when we get there. It's going to be interesting, to say the least. But, as long as we get those loans and the funding is there, it should help out. It should definitely help out.
Right. And Deborah, you have a kind of a unique business. It's just you in the kitchen, right?
Correct.
So you don't employ anybody else, but have you been able, did you need to apply for one of these loans? Because I know, there's a lot of things that go into baking, and a lot of the things that you need, like flour and eggs and yeast, really shot up in price because there was a shortage. So that definitely, I can imagine, really hurt your bottom line. Did you need to apply for one of these loans?
Well, unfortunately, I'm not eligible for one of these loans.
Okay.
Because it's such a different type of business. I don't have, in order to qualify, first of all, you have to have a certain number of employees, and you have to spend 75% of the loan on payroll. So unless I'm going to hand myself a nice little salary, that wouldn't happen because I don't have those employees. So I'm kind of up the creek because although all the costs have drastically increased, I haven't taken a salary. I just don't even know how long it's been anymore. So, it's been months since probably mid-end of February.
And Deborah, what is your website? Tell our audience.
So at this point, I'm in the process of revamping the website, so it's not on. But I do have a Facebook page, Cool Z's Gluten-Free at facebook.com, and it's all one word. And I'm also on Instagram, and Cool Z's Gluten-Free at gmail.com.
Easy enough to remember. How about Joe and Javier? Do you have a website we should know about?
We're Popeyes, Bethpage.com.
And that's easy
Popeyes
enough.
Clam Bar on Facebook. That's easy enough.
You can visit Brooklyn Dip and Burger at thebrooklyndip.com. I want to just make sure that we thank all of you for being with us today. Today we've been talking to Matt O'Hara, the owner of Brooklyn Dip and Burger, located on Front Street in East Meadow. We've been talking to Joe Reale and Javier Isa from Popeyes in Bethpage, and the owner of Cool Z's Gluten-Free in Plainview, Deborah Zeitlin. Please patronize these amazing people and let them know you appreciate what they're doing for your community. I'm Bill Horan. I'm here with Corey Kaufman. Thanks for listening to this special edition of My Hometown.
We'd like to get your feedback on My Hometown. Send your comments to whpc@ncc.edu. Nassau Community College, where success starts and continues. Till next time, this is Bill St. James. And remember, there's no town like your hometown.